Hi guys, thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about the parts of a circle, like the lines and then like pieces and some vocab and the visuals that go with the vocab. And I'm going to try and keep it under 15 minutes. So I already drew a couple circles with the centers or origins. I call them centers. You can also call it origin. I like center though. So here's your centers, and I'm going to be using this one mainly. So I'm going to recap everything in the red box first from the last video. So one more time, the diameter is just 2 times the radius. If you want to find the radius, then you divide the diameter by 2. The area of any circle is r squared times pi. The circumference of any circle is 2 pi r, or pi times the diameter. And then pi is just a number. It's just a really, really ugly decimal. And we shorten it just for simplicity's sake to 3.14. So this is from the last video. You should know all this. Today's new vocab is quadrant, arc, chord, sector, and segment. And I'm going to draw all of these, and I'm going to tell you which is which. And so I want to go ahead and draw radius and diameter first, just to refresh your memory. So remember, the radius is always from the center to any edge on the circle. Okay, so this is a radius. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and label that radius. Now I'm going to do a diameter. So the diameter, remember, is the exact, like cutting it in half, cutting the whole circle in half. So you go from, you can start on any edge. So I'll start here. Straight, and then keep going. This is your diameter. And so circumference, remember, is the distance around the circle, so it's a distance. So say, start here, go all the way around. This is your circumference. And then last but not least, the area of the circle is always shaded completely in. So how much space does the circle actually take up? So today's new vocab, quadrant, arc, chord, sector, and segment. So I want to talk about arc, and I want to talk about chord. Okay. So an arc is pretty much just a portion of the circumference. So this right here is the edge of the circle. And say if I have 2 points, right, on any 2 points at anywhere, this, so say if I chose here and here, the arc is this bold line, and it's an arc. So an arc is just part of the circumference. The arc is always smaller than the circumference, because the circumference is the whole thing. So this is what is called an arc. An arc is always curvy. Okay, it's always curvy. And it's always smaller than the circumference. Or you could say just part of the circumference. Okay, so that's arc. So that's a new part of a circle. So now let's talk about chord. So a chord, again, you pick any 2 points on the edge of the circle. So say if I pick this point and this point, okay? Any 2 points, pick them on the edge of the circle. except you don't go curvy. You go straight. You go straight to it. I'll draw a line actually. Okay. This is a chord. This is a chord. Okay, so remember a chord is straight line, and it touches two edges on the circle, any two edges. And remember the arc is curvy, okay? So you can make, like you can draw a line, like, or you can draw the curvy part. It's up to you. So both need 2 points on the edge of the circle, except the arc is curvy and the chord is straight. Okay, so the chord is straight. Okay. So now, so really that's all I care about in terms of like the lines. So now I want to talk about here, and I'm going to use arc, radius, diameter, and chord to talk about this smaller circle. So let's talk about, say if it was a pizza, right? And I cut it straight down the middle. Straight down the middle. So in other words, I drew a diameter. This is called a semicircle. So this right here, this is a semicircle. You just cut the circle in half, and you have to use the diameter. Okay? You have to use the diameter when you want to make a semicircle. It will not work if you don't use the diameter. And now let's cut it again. So I'll draw a smaller. So say that's my diameter. And then I drew another diameter directly perpendicular to this diameter. So in other words, I'm making a 90-degree angle. I'm making a 90-degree angle here. So these actually I'll cut into 4. So I'm turning a semicircle, or technically 2 semicircles, into 4 quadrants. So this right here, this is called a quadrant. Okay, so there's 4 quadrants, 2 semicircles. Okay, but the thing is with a quadrant, it has to be 90 degrees. It cannot look like, a slice of pizza. It has to be exactly 90 degrees. So your quadrant is your semicircle. And so before I move on to sector and segment, I want to talk about the degrees of a circle just for a little bit. So the degree of any circle, like the total degrees, is 360. 360 for any circle. So you go around, that's 360. So if a semicircle would be 180. It would be 180 for a semicircle, because a semicircle is half of a whole circle. So a quadrant is half of a semicircle. So this would actually be 90 degrees. So this is 90. This is 180, because if you remember, a straight line is 180. So there's your straight line right there, 180. And then, so that's your straight line, that's your straight line. That together is 360. So those are the basic degrees for a circle. So make sure you go ahead and get this, and I'm going to erase the board. And I'm going to talk about sector and segment. Okay. So now let's talk about sector and segment. Okay, so a sector, so is your center, and so say I have 2 points, 2 points. Okay, so the sector uses any two radius for a sector. So a sector is going to look like a slice of pizza. I don't want to make it that big. Let's make it smaller. So a sector is going to look like pizza slice. And you need to use the center for the radius. So that's your first radius, and that's your second radius. So a sector is this is what it looks like. So it uses two radius, also known as radii for plural, and the arc. It uses an arc for the sector, okay? So it's going to look like a pizza slice. Okay, so now let's talk about segment. So segment does not need the center, okay? A segment, this is your segment right here. So here, all it needs is an arc. And a chord, okay? This is your chord right here. This is your radius. Okay, so segment, sector, which looks like a slice of pizza. One uses the chord, and the other uses radius. Two radius. Okay, two radius and the arc. Both require an arc, but the matter is, the difference is that here's the chord, segment requires a chord, and then one more time, two radius for the sector. And so, pretty much it. The only difference between, just for your information, the only difference between a segment, this right here, and a semicircle, this is your semicircle, is your semicircle needs a diameter. This needs diameter. Okay, so semicircle needs the diameter. The segment does not need the diameter. It can be any line, like any freaking line. It doesn't matter. It just requires a chord. But the diameter is needed for the semicircle. Okay? And I think that's it. No. Yeah, that's it. So that's really everything you need to know for this week's PDF that I posted on Google Classroom. I tried to keep it under 15 minutes, but yeah, so we went over multiple parts of a circle, how they relate to each other, how they are used with each other. That's my timer. But But yeah, I hope this helps. I'm sorry if I went a little fast, but my students keep up the great work. The thing about videos is you can replay them over and over again in case you didn't understand the first time. And so, yeah, just stay in contact with me. Please like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.